in the middle of verse 13, now Abram was living near the great trees of Mamre the Amorite, a brother of Eshcol and Aner, all of whom were allied with Abram. Okay? They were buddies. Buddies isn't really the word I want. They were allies. Okay? So when you have an ally, when you go to war, your ally goes to war with you. Okay, if that's your ally. Plus, there's additional evidence in the balance of the scripture where we read the very last verse. Let's skip down to verse 24. I will accept nothing but what my men have eaten and the share that belongs to the men who went with me. And he names them to Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them have their share. So, it wasn't 318 men that went with Abram. All right, so then you're getting out your scratch pad, some of you, and you're saying 318 plus 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 318 plus 3, that was 321 people went, right? Right, Brother Green? Isn't that right? Wrong. Wrong. Okay? I'll show you why. Let's go back to the very first verse we read. The four kings, the verse 11, the four kings seized all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, do you really believe it was four kings that just happened to ride up there on horseback? Okay, and they looked at Sodom and Gomorrah and said, let's just go get us some people and gather them all together, and four kings just rode out there, took the whole town away and everything else? No, that's not what the Bible is saying. Okay, earlier it talked about the kings and the armies fighting. When it's saying four kings, it's talking about four kings and their armies. That's the context. Context is very important. Okay, what is it talking about at the time? It's not just talking about four kings. It's four kings and their armies. Armies fight. Kings don't get up there and sword fight among each other. Okay, so how many men did Abram go against? How many men were in those that were in the armies of the four kings? I don't know. The Bible doesn't say. I don't know how many men. Was there 1,000, 2,000, 3,000? I have no idea. The scripture doesn't tell me. I don't know. What I do know is that more than 318, we already covered that, more than 321 went with Abram. Let me continue. All right? So the way this scripture refers to the four kings, it refers to the allies in the same way. Okay? Eshcol, Aner, and Mamre, they're referring to them the same way. In other words, there were men that were in their households. We don't know how many. Okay? We do not know. The Bible doesn't tell us how many. All right? Abram had 318. Maybe this one had 100. This one had 2. This one had 250. We don't know. Okay? But my point here is to say that it was more than 321. All right? And it was very likely way, way less than what the kings had. I said very likely. Why? Because I don't have numbers to prove that. The only number we have there is 318 men, 4 kings, and 3 allies. All right? We don't know what that really totals to. Okay? So I won't preach that sermon anymore about the great victory with 318 men because it's not correct. Okay? It was a great victory. You know, we don't know how many men the kings had. We don't know how many men really went with Abram. All right? But if you're a guy like Abram, and you're minding your own business, and you got 318 men in your deal, you're not supposed to be going out there by yourself and 3 buddies and whipping on 4 kings. That's not supposed to happen. Okay? Not supposed to happen. So, was it a great victory? Absolutely. We just don't know the number of people involved, number of warriors or people in the army. We just don't know. Okay? So that's just a side issue, just an interesting side issue. That's what I call it. Verse 16, he recovered all the goods and brought back his relative Lot and his possessions, together with the women and the other people. Okay? All the other people weren't important. Okay? Read the sentence. Brought back his nephew Lot. He got who he went after. Oh, by the way, he got everybody else too. Okay? Got everybody else too, but he was really going after Lot. So he did that. So on his way back, we see a reversal here. All right? Abram, just a hard-working guy, and he's got a lot of property. All right? He's coming back. All right? Before he gets back to where home is, the king comes out to meet him. Okay? The king comes out to meet him. See, that's not really the way it's supposed to be. You know, you're supposed to come back and report to the king. But the king recognized who the boss really was in this situation, in the natural, that Abram had more pull, more success than the king of Sodom did. Okay, why is the king of Sodom still alive? All your people got taken, all right, and you didn't get taken, and you're still alive? Where was your boy? Okay, hide underneath your throne? I don't know. Okay, so the king of Sodom coming out to meet Abram. All right, so he met him in the valley, and then verse 18 tells us that Melchizedek, the king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High, and he blessed Abram. All right, blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who delivered your enemies into your hand. All right, and then Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. See, in our day, we're used to, most of us, most Christians, I believe, are used to hearing fiery sermons, okay? Sermons that either, one, get us started tithing, or have us keep on tithing, or these same or similar fiery sermons to make sure that we tithe again or some more or on every occasion or on this. But it's motivated by what people are taught. Did you catch that? The idea of tithing is motivated by what people are taught. Religious leaders teach that. A lot of people accept that. A lot of people believe that. That motivates them to try to do that. Okay? Here's a case where it didn't work that way. The religious leader in this situation, there was only one, that was Melchizedek, didn't get to preach a sermon.